They could not have planned this any better, as folks, everything just fell perfectly into place for the Toronto Blue Jays. As not only do we have some huge updates ahead of tomorrow's ALCS Game 1 as it pertains to a few different things, but most importantly, Bo Bichette. We also have some updates about the Jays' opponent that not only are you going to want to stay tuned for, as the opponent has been set, but there are some details that nobody is talking about that have huge implications going forward. Want to break all that down? You're going to want to stay tuned to the end of the video because the Bo Bichette update in particular is very exciting. But before we get into all that, if you're a part of the percentage who aren't subscribed to the channel, folks, about 70% of you who are watching right now aren't subscribed. This is the place to be for daily Jays content, multiple videos a day. Your guys' support has been truly unbelievable. You guys have been unreal. Folks, let's dive into it. Now, yesterday night, a very late night, I stayed up and watched the whole game. Of course, Mariners versus Tigers, a game for the ages, a game 5. And we're going to start with that because in case you missed it, there were some details that, yes, it went 15 innings, a ton of pitchers used. But folks, things just fell perfectly into place for the Toronto Blue Jays. And stay tuned here in a couple minutes. I'll dive into the Bo Bichette update that no one is really talking about either. But let's start with this. And Thomas Hall sums it up perfectly. Seattle wins the marathon. Let the rematch begin. After using 7 pitchers, including 3 starters, the Mariners must now immediately fly to Toronto. It's a dream scenario for the Blue Jays with how the ALCS is set up here. And folks, in case you missed it, yesterday, the Seattle Mariners used 3 starting pitchers. They used George Kirby, Luis Castillo, and Logan Gilbert. They did not use Bryce Miller, who has an above a 5 ERA, above 5 this season. This not only set up perfectly for the Jays, this is great news. They ran through their entire bullpen. They ran through their starters. And now the game 1 starter for the Mariners is in question, whereas the Jays have had plenty of time to sit back and relax. Now, would I prefer the Tigers to win? Absolutely. I think the Tigers are an easier matchup. I think their offense is much worse. I think their bullpen is much worse. Yes, they have Tarek Skubal, but I would have preferred the Tigers. But folks, this is really good news, right? You can see Jeff Passan. What kind of game is this? Three of the 4 starting pitchers this series for both teams have pitched in it. If this changes a lot for the Jays for a few different reasons. One, again, they're at home. Everything is good. They're setting up their pitching staff for what presumes to be Kevin Gausman, Trey Savage, so on. The lineup, of course, is going to get the roster, rather, is going to get set tomorrow. I'll have another video later today probably outlining that, or if new updates are up to date. There's going to be some sort of workout at Rogers Center today, so we will keep you up to date, or I'll keep you up to date, rather, on that. Make sure to hit the subscribe button. But, this is perfect because not only – again, there's no way George Kirby pitches game 1. There's no way Logan Gilbert pitches game 1. They could go Bryce Miller, who struggled a bit. They could go Luis Castillo, even though he pitched 1 inning yesterday night on short rest. You could probably work that out. There is some worry about Brian Wu being available, but at the same time, with Luis Castillo being thrown, even if he is available in game 1, the Jays are in fantastic shape, and this makes games 1 and 2 crucial. Their bullpen is going to, yes, they have one off day, which is today as they fly into Toronto. Their bullpen is going to be shot. Their starting rotation is going to be shot. You got to jump to a 2-0 lead in this series before going on the road for 3. But you couldn't have planned it any better if you are the Jays. Now, one of the bad things is their ace, Brian Wu, did throw a bullpen yesterday. Their GM was asked, could he pitch in the LCS? These are decisions we're going to have to make pretty quickly once the game concludes. We'll cross that bridge when we get there, but we're certainly hopeful. This is something to keep an eye out on. He's not going to start game 1. There's no way he's going to be stretched out. He was seen throwing a bullpen yesterday. That's concerning, right? We can dive into the Mariners and all those things, and we will, of course, right, on the channel, or I will, rather. I don't know why I keep saying we. I will. You have Eugenio Suarez, who's a really good hitter. Josh Naylor, Julio Rodriguez, Cal Raleigh is their big guy, of course, and he's crushed the Jays in the past. The Jays have to, take care of all their demons. The Yankees, the Mariners, of course, choking the 8-1 lead. It is going to be terrifying. But you can jump off to an early lead. And they do have a lot of great pitching, the Mariners, and they have great hitting and things like that. They're 5th in the MLB in home runs. The Jays' hitting is so good, they can wear down the starting pitchers. None of these guys, besides really Brian Wu, has really, really elite stuff. George Kirby kind of does. But Castillo and Gilbert, they're both very good pitchers. They don't scare me a ton. And with the way the Jays battle against Max Fried, Carlos Rodon, all these different guys, I have full confidence in this offense, and you don't have to go up against a Tarek Skubal. The benefit is, again, you're missing Skubal. For the second straight series, you missed that ace. Crochet in round 1, Skubal in round 2. The bad news is a more well-rounded team, a more well-rounded roster, pitching staff pitchers from Seattle side compared to, of course, the Yankees. Let me know down below what your thoughts are. Here are the game times. Tomorrow at 8:03 Eastern, and then, of course, on Monday, 4:38 Eastern or 5:30 5:03 p.m. Eastern. So this is pretty interesting. Also, shout out to the Leafs. They changed their game time to, I think, 2 p.m. Eastern to give fans a chance to actually, like, you know, go ahead and watch both games in a fun time. And keep in mind, the series goes 2 at home, 3 on the road, 2 at home. So it is what it is on that front. And speaking of taking care of business against the Mariners and their pitching staff being great, folks, Bo Bichette was seen yesterday. A video was going around of him running the bases. Now, there wasn't much details beyond that. I'm sure we'll hear some more updates today as, you know, again, there's a workout at Rogers Center happening. But if this is true and he is running the bases, folks, this is looking very good. And you're hearing analysts, like I covered in yesterday's video, you're hearing analysts speak about it. You know, Blake Murphy, Chadavidi, Ben Smith, about Bo Bichette in a way that was much more positive and is much more positive, rather, than what it was after they clinched the AL East and prior to the ALDS series. There's a real shot here where we have Bo Bichette. I am not worried in the slightest about Bo Bichette's hitting ability. You're able to catch up to live pitching in the sense of, you know, hitting it a lot faster than you are, let's say, rehabbing an elbow and coming back to, you know, pitch. Kind of like Chris Bassett, right? He's taking a while to really build up. Bo, I'm fully confident you throw him in as DH, you'll be perfectly fine, right? He will maintain his bat to ball skills. Will it be tough? Sure. Will he have a rough stretch? Maybe. But you have a deep lineup with that. And if you can, you know, make the simple move, and of course, one of the big moves is who do you put in starting pitching staff? Who do you move out for Bo Bichette? The obvious answer is IKF. The more confusing answer could be Anthony Santander. If Bo Bichette's DHing, what playing time does that leave open for Santander? With the 2 days off and 3 straight games, you cannot afford a bullpen day. So they're going to have to carry another starter. Last we've seen, Max Scherzer was stretched out for 5 innings against live BP, and then Chris Bassett was 3 innings. I suspect they'll go one, if not both of those guys. You could see a world where they take Chris Bassett, they take, of course, Max Scherzer. You get rid of Justin Brule because no lefties, or way less lefties than the Yankees, the Mariners. And then, of course, you take Max Scherzer for, Tommy Nance. And that's pretty simple there. Brule's gone. Tommy Nance is gone. You're bringing 2 of the starters. Gives you length. You can throw one of them in the bullpen. Bo Bichette for IKF. That's how I see this going. Now, if they want some of that versatility defensively, maybe they get rid of Anthony Santander. I don't want to see IKF even step foot in another playoff game, but we know how this Jays team is. They use their bench so much. They value versatility more than any other team. And in case you missed the video yesterday, the latest update, Bichette needs to make sure he can run the bases. Folks, he was seen running the bases yesterday, and then beyond that, he's ready to become a part of the team once again. I truly believe he's going to make this roster. You throw him into this lineup, whether or not he's on fire or not, he is such a threat offensively. He's been taking batting practice. He's been taking live BP. The biggest thing is running the bases. If he can get there, folks, I'm fully confident in this team. But again, you're going up against a very good Seattle Mariners team that has a lot of good starting pitching, a lot of good hitting, a fantastic bullpen. I mean, we saw it yesterday. Andres Munoz. Munoz is very good. Matt Brash, elite. Bastardo had a really good, game yesterday. Gabe Spire, unbelievable. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. They got guys like Carlos Vargas, who isn't even, he's pretty high leverage. Throws 100 with ease. His team will be tough to beat, but the Jays are even better. I truly believe that, and they have their tests ahead of them. But folks, that'll wrap it up. Let me know down below what your thoughts are. You guys are beasts. Cheers.